The government's policy, the official policy, is to create and to support thriving communities, and that was published last year in August in the Civil Society Strategy, I think it was called. Now, community ownership empowers communities through the development and ownership of assets so they can take greater responsibility for their welfare, become more independent and self-reliant. If communities can achieve democratic control and influence over their neighbourhoods, they can serve as secure foundation blocks for a broader and stronger society. So my prescription is all about how to achieve a dramatic increase in the community ownership of land and buildings. If I was Secretary of State, I would extend the £300 million Community Housing Fund programme outside of London to 2023 to match the period of the London programme, so as to ensure that all of the allocated funds are spent empowering communities to build their own affordable housing and to give communities the time to develop the skills, identify the sites and obtain scheme permissions. I would re-establish the Tenant Empowerment Programme, which ran from the mid-1980s to 2015, financing it with a budget adequate to resource its own experienced and dedicated team and cite it within the Regulator for Social Housing. I would restore the Local Authority Housing Stock Transfer Programme, prioritised for community-based transfers, allocating a 5-year budget to fund local authorities to write off the appropriate portion of debt within their housing revenue accounts, and consider grant to help tenant organisations that are not financially viable with debt write-off alone to reach their aspirations. Now that one actually is nascent government policy, so we're there to sort of encourage it further. In consultation with tenant groups and community-based organisations, I would review the current operation of the right to transfer, which is a right for council tenants, little known, it doesn't work, to transfer their council estates to alternative registered providers, alternative landlords, hopefully community-owned ones. I would simplify the regulations, I would re-weight them away from the discretion of local authorities, and I would use the repealed tenants' choice regulations to achieve a robust and workable mechanism. I would revise, update and reissue the Housing Stock Transfer Manual following consultation with local authority landlords, tenant groups and community-based housing associations, ensuring that it aligns with the revised right to transfer regulations, so that it can support the government's policy of prioritising transfers to community-based housing associations. I would link grants from the Community Housing Fund, the Estate Regeneration Fund and other relevant programmes to transfers which facilitate building additional homes, bringing empty homes back into use or making other qualifying improvements. As part of an overarching strategy, I would promote opportunities for communities to transfer their estates into community ownership, using grants to support tenant groups through the process and by getting the Regulator for Social Housing to assist community land trusts on council estates to become registered providers. I would use Scotland's experience of how new legislation has transformed the community ownership sector to set in train legislation to vastly improve the opportunities for community ownership in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. I would use land value capture to resource communities to develop sustainably for the long term. Politically and socially, community ownership has the potential to unite people in pursuit of benefits that are not just mutual, but can be shared beyond the neighbourhood. So my final item on the list would be to use community ownership to bring together individuals who are divided so they can unite for the good of their community and for the future of their neighbourhood. Thank you.